Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my day 14 foundation. I'm so excited to be back in the swing of things and trying to move on from loss. We'll get into that in just a minute, but I just wanted to let you know I'm going to do the day 14 foundation, the Clinique Even Better Clinical Serum Broad Spectrum SPF 25 foundation. It is a gorgeous foundation that I've loved for a very long time, and I just thought, you know what? I want to use it today. I have a list. I've created a list of all of my foundations that I'm going to use for this series. And I had this one pretty low because I wanted to use it towards the end. Like I wanted to end the series on a bang with like some of my favorite foundations, but I decided to break it up, and this is definitely one of my favorite foundations. I've repurchased it several times. I'm currently almost out of this one, so I've got a backup ready to go. I'm telling you guys, that's how you know if it's a favorite foundation, if it's something you completely cannot go without. So I love this. I can't wait to show you guys this in action. But I also wanted to make today's video a little bit special. I've got the Westman Atelier New Vital Skincare Concealer. This is the newest concealer on the market that I know of, from Sephora anyways. It is in the shade M1. The foundation's in CN52, but we'll get into all of that in the video. And then I'm also popping in a bunch of Moira products because I did a Moira beauty haul not too long ago, and I decided it was time to feature them. So I'm going to use the Star Show Shadow Paw in Showtime tongue twister, and I'm also going to use the Moira Liquid Diamond Days eyeshadow in Eye Contact. I went ahead and swatched some other ones, but I didn't use them on my eyes today. I created a very simple look. I can't wait for you to see how I created this everyday gorgeous look. It's very, very fall appropriate, and it's so simple. There's all kinds of other goodies sprinkled into this video. Before we get into all of that, I do want to get a little bit more serious with you guys. I haven't posted in a while. The last video I posted was filmed quite a while ago. I finally finished editing it and got it up because I felt like I had neglected this hobby of mine, and I just felt like I needed to go ahead and post something. But we have experienced a huge loss in my family, and I don't want to cry too much because I want to get this wear test done. But we experienced a huge loss. My mother-in-law of 20 years, she passed suddenly, and we've just been completely heartbroken. And going back to work was very, very tough for me, trying to get back in the swing of things, and just, I don't know, it's so hard. Loss is so hard because you're trying to go to work and act like everything's fine and do your best because that's what you're meant to do. Like, that's your job. You're supposed to go and give your all. And I think that's been one of the hardest things for me so far. And then with that, it was also, I work night shifts, so I was away from my husband, who is grieving. My family is grieving. And to be away from them at night was really, really rough for me because I know how hard the nights are for my husband especially. So we've had a lot to deal with, but with that said, this is something that I enjoy to do. It's a hobby of mine, the whole thing. I love filming because it's a way for me to show you guys what's good. I love finding good products and then sharing them with you. I think that's just, I just think it's a really good thing to do. It's one of my favorite things about YouTube is going and finding people that have similar skin tones or skin types and just similar interests, similar tastes. I like finding people, and that way I can go off of their recommendations and judge if I need to purchase it myself. And I've just decided that I wanted to do that as well. I wanted to be that person for one of you. So that's why I do this. And then when I finally decided that I was going to do it, when I finally decided I had enough courage to film and actually put myself out there, I realized that the hardest part is editing. I'm just me. Like, I have to do this in my free time. So Editing is hard work. If you want to make your videos special, it takes talent, it takes time, it takes a lot of trial and error, it takes a good editing software, which I've paid for, and hopefully we are good, and I can do things like this, or like this. And I've just enjoyed the process of learning how to do it. I think no matter how old you are, if you find something that you enjoy, do it. That's what life is about. It's about finding things that make you happy and then excelling at them. So if you don't have something like that in your life, I encourage you, go out and find it. You will find it. Just keep trying. Find something that makes you happy, that you enjoy. It's important. So anyways, enough of that. I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up, and I just wanted to kind of fill you in on what's been going on and why I've been a little absent and why my channel might be a little slower than normal, because it's hard. It's hard to keep going, but I'm going to try my best, and I appreciate you all. So before we get into the video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I would love for you to join my channel. I just hope to keep building up my subscribers. I want to reach as many people as I possibly can. Please hit the like button. Leave me a comment. That really does help. I love to interact with you all, so don't feel shy. Please leave me a comment. I would love to chit chat with you. One more thing I wanted to show you. I am back in love with this perfume, the Carolina Herrera. To be honest, I loved this scent when I first got it. Don't get me wrong, but I was obsessed with the red high heel. Like, I had to have this on my vanity. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But let me just tell you, the scent has grown on me so much. It's floral, but it's got enough like musk in it that it is my favorite to wear in the fall and the winter time. The Glossier U, I can wear it just about year round, and I feel like it's appropriate in all seasons. But for me, I don't know why, but the Very Good Girl from Carolina Herrera, it is my ultimate fall winter scent. So I just wanted to share that really quickly with you before we move on. Let's go ahead and jump into this video, starting at about noon, so we've got a long day ahead. There is absolutely zero daylight coming through my windows right now. Just very dark and gloomy. So I'm going to try to capture everything the best I can with the lighting that I have been given today. I have already done my skincare, and I've already done my brows, and I've primed my eyelids. To show you really quickly what I used for skincare, I used the Innisfree Green Tea Enzyme PHA Toner, the Innisfree Green Tea Caffeine Bright Eye Serum. I like to use a very light eye serum before I do my makeup instead of like a heavy cream. My little dew eye patches on top. But for serum, I used my Holy Grail Lancome Genifique and my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. These are like Holy Grail staple products that I constantly repurchase when I run out. Like, I don't know, there's just something about these that I like to use under makeup that I just can't replace. I will tell you a new serum that's come out that I've tried. I got a little sample. Is the Glow Recipe Blackberry Retinol Blemish Serum. I've been using this at nighttime and I really do enjoy it. So I probably will purchase the full size of this. I'm trying to decide on an eye look. I want to go very simple. I got the Moira Star Show Shadow Pot in the shade Showtime. I remember when I hauled this, it was such a tongue twister, and it still is. So this is what Showtime looks like in the pot. It's very sparkly reflective. Let me swatch it for you guys. As you can see, it is super reflective. Beige base with a silver champagne reflect. I don't know, it's very pretty. Almost maybe like a rose gold base to it in certain angles, but it's very multi-dimensional. I really love it. I've got the Diamond Days Liquid Shadow in Eye Contact, and these come in this type of packaging. Let me swatch it. So that's Star Show in the Shadow Pot, and this is the Liquid Shadow in Eye Contact. As you can see, it just looks maybe a little bit more wet. I don't know. It's very intense. This one is the Diamond Days Liquid Shadow in Goodness. This is what the packaging looks like. This one doesn't look as glittery as Eye Contact. No. It's more of like a transparent shade. It's definitely got the reflect to it in certain lighting, but it's very transparent. It's like not very opaque compared to Eye Contact. Eye Contact in the middle here has more base to it and a little bit more glittery reflect, but all three of these are stunning. I have had in my collection for a while. It's the Lucent Cream Shadow in the shade 26 Phoebe. These come in this little square packaging, and this one's more of like just a gold shade. Let me swatch it. It's gold with like a little bit of green shift to it. It's very pretty. All of these are super pretty and intense. I think I'll use the bronzer, the powder bronzer that I was going to use today, and I'll use maybe even a little bit of the powder blush. I actually have a new shade in this that I want to try out. This is the Give Beauty Pick It Up Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo in the shade Toastin'. I've had this one for a while, and I really like it, but it is just ever so slightly off, the colors. Like, not quite dark enough, a little bit too yellowy orange. So I wanted to try the shade Smokin', which is the very next shade up. I don't remember exactly, but Give was having a huge sale, and they're like really good. Like, look at this packaging. It's got the mirror inside, and then here's the shade Smokin'. I took this out and swatched it, and I was kind of disappointed because I don't feel like there's much of a difference between the two shades. So I want you all to tell me what you think. I just don't think there's that much of a difference between the two, and they're both very warm. So let me swatch the new one for you in the cream. And maybe that's where we'll see a difference, is swatching it. The new one in the cream contour, Smokin'. See, it's got like this orange shift. I don't know. Here's the old one, Toasted. Put it right beside it. No. That is not enough of a difference to me personally in shade. So we have Smokin' on the bottom and Toastin' right on top. That's not a big difference at all. Like, they're very, very similar. So I was pretty shocked to see that. So let me do the powder side to show you. Let's do Smokin' first, go in the same order. Smokin' and Toastin'. All right, so there is a difference in the powder. Not much, but there is. What I'll do is I'll just probably use a little bit of Toastin', maybe add in a little bit of Smokin', and we'll just try to make it work. For blush, I pulled out the Haus Labs Fire Moon, and it's like a very beigey blush. So I thought maybe adding a little bit of this to the bronzer, and we're just gonna play, all right? Let's just play. Start with Toastin'. Let's hope this is as easy as I think it's gonna be in my head. All right, so Toastin' in the crease. And if you're new here, just remember that my face is way lighter than the rest of me because of self-tan. I always like to mention that just in case you're new. I don't want it to be... It's kind of hard to tell right now because of a sweatshirt on, but whenever it gets time for complexion, I always like to warn people ahead of time so you're not like, whoa, you know? And like I said, I'm trying to fight these shadows. I hope I can get some good footage with the lighting I'm given today. All right, I'm just sweeping this all over the crease. Now I'm going to go into Smokin', same brush, and just see if I can build up a little bit of depth out here. Oh yeah, for sure. There is a difference in the powder portion. That's for sure. I just kind of like placing the darker shade out in the outer V. And then once I feel like most of the product is off of the brush, then I'll start blending it. Stamping and then blending. All right, now that I've laid that down, I'm just going to do a very sloppy blend. We want this to be a very simple, quick look. So I'm just doing very sloppy blend right now. Add a little bit of Fire Moon into this, just to bring in a little bit of a pink beige tone, because I don't want it to be too orange. Basically, I just don't want it to be too yellowy, too orange. So I just want to see what Fire Moon brings to this look. I don't think I've ever used blush as eyeshadow. Not that I can remember anyway. But yeah, I actually really like what this is doing. It's definitely making that yellow tone fade away. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of this Moira under eye setting powder. We will definitely be using this later on in the video, but I'm just going to take a little bit of this on the 212 and I'm going to blend it under the brow bone. Well, that really didn't do much. It's more of just a transparent, very sheer powder. I mean, I guess it did a little something, but I might go into this Rare Beauty powder. This is the porcelain shade of the Tinted Pressed Finishing Powder, her newest pressed powder. I'm going to go into that on the 212. I'll just use the mirror in here. I'm going to put it right under the brow. And that just smooths all your texture. And it blends the shadows nicely together. I use the BK Beauty 203. It's just a kind of like a flat shader brush, but it does have a little fluff to it. I want to see how this picks up the product. I want you to be able to see the texture. Got some on the brush. And let's see what it looks like on the lid. I probably should have used a glitter primer, but I feel like when I use glitter like this on my finger, it sticks to the lid better. So let's do that. Let's just kind of press it down. All right. Now I'm going to take the brush and just use it to softly blend. I think that's all I want to do. Seriously, I will use eyeliner, but like I said, I wanted it to be very simple eye look, and I think we have nailed it. It's very easy. It's got some shift to it. I want to use a little bit of eye contact just on top. I use the same brush. Just add a little bit like right here to make it really pop. Going back in with the 212, and I'm just going to gently blend a little bit right here. And that is good. I'm gonna wipe off my brush, do the other eye, and I'll come back and we'll get started on everything else. I'm so excited to try all these products, and it just makes me feel so much better playing around with makeup. And anyway, I'll be right back. Probably be having glitter fallout for several days. I took off my eye patches, so now I'm just making sure my eyes still feel nice and hydrated. They do. The Sephora 12-hour retractable eyeliner in the shade 10 Matte Brown. I'm going to use this bad boy to tightline a little bit, and then I'm going to use the Moira Micro Tip Liquid Liner in the shade 2 Brown. I definitely would use a glitter glue if you're going to play with those, because I have glitter literally all over my face. Let's try it out. The Moira Micro Tip Liquid Liner in the shade Brown. Always give your liners a good shake. It has a nice fine tip. Let's go to town. Tilt your head. Wind is picking up outside. It's supposed to get pretty intense today, I believe. I'm definitely praying for everyone in Florida. Well, in the South, period, really, like Georgia, Florida areas. I'm praying for you all. I hope everything I just hope the best of the best in the situation, you know? I know a lot of people that I work with that are traveling right now, and then a lot of people that live in that area. I just hope everybody's okay. I feel like this liner is very easy to work with. I'm not experiencing any running. Staying where I put it. It's kind of hard for me right now with my lash lift, but it's doing a good job, all things considered. You know, it's going on top of glitter just fine. I think for me, I prefer the way it looks when it's just a very soft line. That's why I like eyeshadow. And I don't know, this just feels like it looks very wet because of laying on top of that glitter. I'm going to clean up the outside edge really quick, and then I might use a little bit of a dark eyeshadow just to wing that out a little bit and soften it. Like I said, I'm just not a huge fan of it anymore. I just really prefer a soft eyeliner look. I've grabbed my little Pat McGrath Sublime Smoke palette and my 208 from BK Beauty. And I'm going to take the two darkest matte shades, mix them together, and soften the outer edge of this look. Yeah, I just prefer that. And I think it'll really last for a long time. If you do this, use a liquid liner and then set it with the powder. I think that's a really good way to make your eyeliner last. And I just feel like it softens everything and makes it look a little bit more, I won't say natural because this doesn't look natural, but it makes it just appear more subtle, I guess. I do not have a Moira primer, so what I thought I would do is, I've wanted to do this for a while. The Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas versus the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. I've wanted to purchase this for a long time because I thought they're trying to dupe this, so I want to test it myself. Tatcha Featherweight Protective Primer, oil-free. Apply 1 pump to skin after SPF before makeup for face and eyes. I've never thought about putting this under my eyes, but here is what 1 pump looks like, and we're going to use just 1 pump for half of my face. And I do have like a little pimple guy there hanging around, unwanted visitor. I've owned the original. Power's flashing, that's great. We may get to finish this video. Anyway, I've owned the original for a long time. I love it. I think it's a fantastic primer. But I was always curious to try this one because it says like feather lightweight, and everybody just raves about it. And I enjoy it. I feel like it makes your skin very silky smooth, but it doesn't necessarily blur or mattify the skin in like an extreme way or anything. It's just very subtle. It's just a nice overall smoothing base to apply your makeup. But you can definitely still see my pores, but they're definitely softened, and it helps with the oil or the shine. So I do enjoy it. Now let's test out the e.l.f. on the other side. And this one you don't do a pump, so I'll just try to do equal parts as best I can. This one feels a little different, a little bit more slip to it than the Tatcha. The Tatcha has, when you pump it out, you can tell it has a grip to it. This one felt a little bit more runny. And yeah, it's just a little bit more of a thin, runnier texture. But they have very similar color. They have very similar smell, and they work very similarly. So I'm very curious to see how this works out side by side, wearing both of them at the same time. I love doing stuff like that. I just think it's so fascinating to see with your own eyes how products work. And that's why I am just obsessed with makeup. I love testing new things and seeing how they work for me. And then I love to share it. What do we think? I think it looks very similar. I think my face looks a lot more smooth. I'm going to use my Givenchy Volume Disturbia mascara. All right, where were we? I got a phone call. My husband was worried about the power where it flickered. I guess everywhere is experiencing some issues in our town. I'm just using the Volume Disturbia mascara and kind of using my tweezers to move it around because my lashes are indeed ready to be lash lifted again. They are acting crazy. All right, we are ready for complexion, and I'm hoping I can get through this video before the power goes out. I want to show you my Day 14 foundation, the Clinique Even Better Clinical Serum Foundation with Broad Spectrum SPF 25. I've got mine in the shade CN52 Neutral. It's a pretty good match for me year-round. I did purchase a new one because I got it on sale on QVC's website, and you get 1 fluid ounce. It says perfects and transforms. Let me read you a little bit about it. On the back, it says the skin perfecting coverage of a foundation with the transforming power of a serum. Visibly restores skin instantly and over time with good for skin ingredients, vitamin C, salicylic acid, hyaluronic acid, and also provides sun protection. Weightless, buildable, full coverage. Second skin satin finish. 100% fragrance-free and allergy tested. It says for dry combination to oily skin. So, everybody? My air just kicked on. I have no idea why, but I'm sorry for that. Looks like we're down to the very end. The blurring foundation brush from Smashbox. I'm going to prime the brush with the foundation in my hand like I've been seeing all over social media. And remember, I'm trying to match my body, so when this applies, you won't be shocked. But it is, like I said, a very good match for me pretty much year-round. And this is the e.l.f. primer side. So we'll see what it looks like on top of that. And I love this brush because you can stipple, and it's dense enough to really pack it into the skin, but it's also got some like fluffy fibers on the edge that you can just use to blend a little bit if you need to. I absolutely love the way this foundation wears on me. It really balances out my complexion, and it does give really good coverage, and once it dries down, it does smooth out and give more of a blurred finish. It's just beautiful. The way it wears, the longevity, everything about it, I truly, truly love. I'm just going to put some more foundation into the brush, which is not much left on my hand, to be honest, but I'm going to try to make at least one half of my face with what was on my hand. And let's do the Tatcha side. You'll be able to see how it covered that pimple. This foundation comes in 42 shades on the Clinique website, and it's $48 for 1 ounce. It claims to be 24-hour full coverage with a matte finish, oil-free, 3 serum technology, clinically proven to leave bare skin looking smoother and more even. It's one of Clinique's best foundations for hyperpigmentation. The formula is 86% skincare. It's pretty obvious how much I love this foundation. It's in my top favorites for sure because of how long-lasting it is, and the shade match is almost perfect. I would say my 2 best matches are this and the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I wear 3-in-1 Ivory Beige. If you have combo skin, I would say this is as close to a perfect formula that you can get. I would say it feels like a serum, but yet has a matte finish to it. How dry my hands look, and then with the foundation. Once you see how this product wears, you're going to be shocked at the longevity of a serum foundation. But this brush is phenomenal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Stands Out sponge that I just washed, and I'm going to press this foundation in. What this does is it gives another opportunity to press it into your skin, and then it picks up any excess. And honestly, this sponge just smooths your skin out so nicely. You can build this up to full coverage very easily. So that little spot that is very challenging for me, I'm going to do the same thing, put some in my brush, and we're going to try to build that up. Let's get close. So what do you think? I think it's buildable. Once you put your other products on, it's going to look like you're wearing a medium to full coverage foundation. Now, I always prefer the way it feels on my skin when I use one light layer. The more you build, the more you will feel it on your skin, so just keep that in mind. But it still, at this point, feels like a very lightweight serum foundation. So my skin feels nice and hydrated. Moira Stay Golden Cream Bronzer in the shade 3 Medium Tan. And a cosmetics brush for this, the Heavenly Luxe brush. I'm just going to pack some onto the brush very lightly and give myself a little bronzer moment. Very nice. I just picked up a very little amount. I have to be careful because my face naturally has like this contour. It's just my face. So I have to be kind of careful with that. It's like the start of a dimple or something. It's just my like fat pocket in my cheek. And try to keep the product up high and lift with it. And then that's why I always use a powder at the end to kind of shadow that natural contour that I have. Let's see what happens if I bring this down a little lower to meet that shadow. Why not play around, you know? It's always good to play around with your face shape and figure out what is best for you. I feel like this is a really good bronzer formula. It's like a natural finish. It's not radiant, but it's not flat matte either. I really like it. That was a win. I really enjoyed that bronzer. I've used it several times in the past, but I don't know, maybe just the combination with this foundation is making me love it more, but I really enjoy how that's looking. I have the Give Beauty ones that I wanted to test out a little bit. Try to use a very small amount of it. I'm using the cream side on this brush, but I'm pinching it. And I'm just going to use it very slightly right here. Just to try to build that shadow a little bit, and it did. I don't know if you all could see that, but it definitely built a little bit of a contour shadow there. I appreciate that. Looks good. I only have one of their blush shades, and it's very pink, and it's the cream formula. Love Heat Cream Blush, and the shade is I Trust You. I'm going to apply a little bit of this, but I'm going to use the It Cosmetics brush that I just used for bronzer. I just realized I didn't swatch any. So let me swatch this for you. See how it's a very cool toned pink? And the formula, it feels really nice. It feels very silky. I'm going to pat some of this off. Yeah, look at that. I'm going to pat some of this off and just use a very small amount of this. And then I'll use a warmer toned blush in powder to kind of offset and balance out the cooler tone of this blush, because I want it to be more warm. So that's a little trick that I've learned over the years, is if you are using a cool toned cream product, you can use a warmer tone powder and make it work. Got the box here. I've got my Westman Atelier Vital Skincare Concealer, and I bought the shade M1, and I've used it once, and I really enjoyed it. But I wanted to show you all on camera. This is the packaging. Super duper nice quality. Of course, it's Westman Atelier. Here's what the doe foot looks like. It's definitely more of a yellow toned concealer, but with the purple under my eyes, it definitely balances it out and somehow still brightens. It's really, really nice. This technique worked really well with this Westman Atelier. So I've just been doing one dot there, one dot there, one dot there. And then here in a minute, once I blend this out, if I need to, I'll add another little dot in the inner corner. To blend the concealer, what I've been doing is I've been taking my finger first. So I'm going to take my ring finger and just pat it in and see how far I can spread it with the warmth of my finger. And then I'll take the brush and finish, but I just like to just do some patting motions under the eye and just spread it around with my finger while also warming the product up. Okay, so that is good. And you can see I have a little bit on my finger, but most of the product has stuck down. It likes to adhere. It is a thicker formula, but it is beautiful. I've absolutely fallen in love with this after just one use. I'm taking the N16 from BK Beauty and Nikki LaRose, and I'm just taking this brush and gently patting and pressing it into my under eye. Here you can see 3 dots was more than enough. Now I'm taking the fluffy bristles of this brush and just ever so slightly blending under the lash line, making sure that it's not going to crease, which I did not experience hardly any creasing with this formula. And that is one of the things that really blew me away about it, was how it set. So typically, what I will do is I would go ahead and do this eye and then powder, but what I have been doing lately that I've been loving is doing one eye at a time fully. So take the sponge from Real Techniques and just do the same thing like I do with my foundation, and I'm just tapping it, very light pressure, but I want to make sure I'm picking up any excess. And this sponge is barely damp. Good. I'm going to use the Moira Under Eye Setting Powder, which is very similar to the Pat McGrath. I'm just going to get some powder into this brush, tap off any excess. I have not used this under eye powder with the Westman Atelier yet. Honestly, I've only used this Moira under eye setting powder one time, so I don't really know too much about it, but last time I used it, it reminded me a lot of the Pat McGrath under eye powder. So I'm just taking whatever's on this brush and pressing it in, and then I'll use a puff with some loose powder to bake a little bit, but I will do the baking after I do this eye. As you can see, it gives a very nice amount of coverage, and it's luminous and like radiant looking without being shimmery or glittery, and I just really love it. And you can see I set this eye very lightly, but not much at all. Makeup Forever HD Skin Setting Powder in the shade Light Vanilla on the little puff that comes with it. I'm going to take some of this powder. I'm going to take it and pinch the puff and just press it all down under here, just like that. It's going to look crazy for a while, but this is what baking actually looks like. All right, we'll see what that looks like here in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and powder the rest of my face with this puff. I love this powder, and the puff is amazing. I do wish it had a little bit more of a point to it, but other than that, I think it's really phenomenal. And this formula, 10 out of 10. So good. Go into the Give Beauty Pick It Up bronzer and the powder side. There's a lot of kick up. Watch when I press this. Watch this. Let's see if I can get it on camera. Yeah, you can see all that. So the shade Smokin' in the powder looks a lot more dark than Toasted. Yeah, it's a little dark. So what I'll do is I'm going to use it very sparingly. Just right here on the outer part, and then a little bit on my forehead. I'm using the F14 from Shop Miss A, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it's my favorite bronzer brush ever. It really is. And it's like $1. Alright, now I'm going to take Toasted, which definitely does not have the kick up like Smokin' does. Definitely not. And look. Nowhere near as bad. So I don't know what that's about, but taking Toasted, adding a little bit of that. The Haus Labs and Fire Moon on the same brush, the F14 from Shop Miss A. And I love this shade. It's like the perfect fall blush shade. It's like a beigey, warm terracotta almost. So pretty. And then if you feel like that's a little too orange for you, guess what? We could fix that too. I've got the Makeup Forever blush in Wherever Rose. This is what the shade looks like, and you can just add a smidge of this if you so desire a little bit more pink to your cheeks. So I love mixing blushes. It's so fun. Everything's turning out so good. I'm so happy with it. I'm going to go for a darker lip today than I normally do, just because I'm going for that like fall vibe look. The Moira Must Have Lip Liner in the shade Rose Beige. Y'all already know how I feel about this. It's just an absolutely incredible lip liner formula. Makeup by Mario's satin lipstick in the shade Flat Iron. It's like a nice beigey shade. I like the formula of this lipstick, but I don't know. The packaging feels nice except for the actual lipstick part itself. It feels a little bit flimsy in there, but the weighted packaging is nice. But I don't know. Just something I noticed. And it is magnetic. Look how nice this looks. And I'm going to top it with Haus Labs PhD Hybrid Lip Glaze in the shade Praline. Feels nice. It's like a gloss and oil hybrid. Looks really good with this look. NYX Lift and Snatch. I'll finish up my brows. Before I use my lower lash mascara, I've got 2 Moira setting sprays. I've got the oil control. I'm going to shake it. Wait, it has like a little bit of product that sits on the top, and you have to shake it in order to make it combine and activate. So we're going to shake it really good, and let's spray a little bit of this. Oh, the mister is so nice. A very light scent. And then I have the Moira Ultra Matte Setting Spray All Day Mattifying and Shine Proof. Same thing. Can't see through this one, but I'm going to go ahead and shake it. The mister on this one's a little bit more intense. It comes out a little bit stronger. It also has a little scent, but not bad. Yeah, the mister's definitely stronger on that one. I feel like the oil controlling one is just very soft, like a true mist. This one, it's a little bit more wet. And the skin looks good. I'm just using my Lancome mascara. I'm going to do my hair, and I'll come back and show you the finished look. This is the finished look. I am loving how it turned out. I think it's very fall appropriate. The eyes, I love how simple it was to create this look. Just beautiful. The way the lights hit it is just gorgeous. Everything looks really, really good. I'm glad I was able to get this done before the storm like really sets in. Like, I don't know what is even going on outside. Every now and then I hear a huge gust of wind and rain. But anyway, it's 11:58 in the morning. It's almost noon. So we'll just go ahead and call it noon. And I will probably at least be able to do a 10-hour wear test today with this foundation, if not more, depending on how the night goes. It's Friday. Could be a 12-hour. Could be 14 hours. We'll see how the night goes. But anyway, that is all for now. This is the finished look. What do you think? Oh, and my hair, I'm absolutely obsessed. I went with like a blunt cut this time. Loving it. I'm picking up my son from school. It's like the hurricane is in Ohio. I can't even imagine what's going on in Florida. Let me show you, like, look at the parking lot. Let me zoom in a little bit. Look at the way the rain and the wind is blowing on the cement. Hang on, you'll see it. And you'll hear it. It's coming in gusts. It's crazy. I had to drive through a bunch of broken down tree limbs and everything. It's pretty intense here in Ohio, so let me know what's going on in your neck of the woods. This is pretty crazy. All right, I was trying to get a natural light shot for you guys so you could see what the skin looks like, but where it's very gloomy out and rainy, but you can still see. Skin looks really good. And it's only been 2 hours and 20 minutes since I applied it. Looks really good, and I've been through a freaking monsoon to get in the car, so I think it's doing pretty dang good. Let me show you all what I used to get into the car, because my umbrellas are in the car. This bag, I put it over my head. You're welcome. If you're ever in a pinch, just grab a plastic bag. This is my 6-hour check-in. We had just finished eating dinner with my father-in-law, and the lighting is pretty dim in the house, so I came into the kitchen so you could see how everything is wearing. I do get a little bit of shine breakthrough, and here I'm just blotting away a little bit of lip gloss that had transferred down to my chin. Like I said, we had just got done eating, but this foundation, there is no need for extra powder. I'm just taking the Beauty Blender Pocket Puff and blotting, and I'm good to go. I would say most of my shine breakthrough is on my cheek area where I use the cream products. And let's not talk about how flimsy and dingy this little pocket puff is getting. I need to get a new one, but I just love this thing. And now after I finish blotting, you can see my skin still looks super smooth. My lip liner's still hanging on. I just added a little bit of Summer Fridays gloss. Everything looks great. Okay, we're back home. This is 10 hours. And this is what everything is looking like. It's been a hurricane outside. I had to put a bag on my head to keep my hair from getting wet. And now it is humid as all get out outside. And I've been wearing a sweatshirt and pants all day. So I think it looks pretty daggone good. Little oil coming through. But I'm going to go upstairs. And I'm going to finish the night. And I will come back and just show you what it looks like right before I take it off. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get at least 12 hours. I'm going to go upstairs and finish watching some Lost. And yeah, we'll probably be done around midnight. So we'll get a full 12-hour wear test out of this. But look at this blush, everything, eyes, everything still looks really, really good. And this is why it's one of my favorite foundations. I didn't get to film after the last check-in because I fell asleep on the couch watching Lost, but I promise this foundation can go the distance, and the rest of my makeup held up just as well. The only thing that I would have changed was baking under my eyes. It just wasn't needed. The concealer is fantastic, and if you haven't checked out Moira Beauty yet, what are you waiting for? The last thing I want to leave you with is this QR code from Clinique. I thought it was pretty handy that you could scan it and find your shade match, so I just wanted to leave you guys with that. I will see you in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.